My favorite routine where I have implemented crystals, we have to understand what crystals really are. And, I guess a short answer for crystals is really minerals, but it's a whole composition beyond just the mineral, right? We have the scientific aspect of what a crystal is, and we also have this mystical aspect of what a crystal is. And we've learned this and we've known this because we speak to our grandmothers or our ancestors, and we kind of hear all these myths on crystals. But I like to say that crystals are really a gateway for inner work. People tend to believe that crystals will magically do some type of work, or because of crystals things will manifest, but we tend to forget that we are a vessel of energy and the work is really inside. The crystals are great in their work and they have all these atomic properties and compositions that science use it for great purposes, but let's be clear, the work is on us. And the vessel, this vessel of energy, if we don't work on it, it kind of blocks everything that happens around us, right? So crystals really hold a place for people, I like to say, to calm down and listen. And if you see me around, which I know you have, that I have a morning routine where I sit down and I listen, and I invite people to do the same thing, to sit down and listen. And what does listening really mean? It's just having a space in silence. And if you think about it, like, how often in a busy world, especially for us entrepreneurs, because I have all this wonderful routine, but I get up and work after that, right? And I have a busy day like everybody else. But when do we stop to listen to our thoughts, to listen to our prayers, to really channel in everything that we're doing? Are we really working for purpose? Are we really working in purpose? What is your purpose? When are we listening to all of these things, right? And so this invitation to silence, and when I say that crystals are, this door opener or a gateway, it's really a gateway or a door opener for us to hold down a space, a time, to do their inner work. And inner work is not always pretty, right? Inner work means going deep into things we like to forget, or we, for safety reason, our brain actually just puts it away, to not feel these emotions. But when we don't allow healing to happen. And so what crystal does, it's the door opener for inner work. And it's not pretty because we relive moments, we re-see things that we tend to hide, and that's where really healing happens. Routines eventually create habits. It's proven by science, and we know that repeated steps and actions usually create a habit or something that happens constantly, right? Now, how do we fall into those habits, and when do we learn that we need to do them? How do we realize we need to create a habit or a routine, right? Well, we start off with routines. Routines eventually lead to habits. You know what happens when we are in a fight? It's really hard to get out of it. It's really hard to step away when you've been told something that fires you up inside, and for you to stay quiet and for you to step back, right? I'm a Leo sign, and those of you who believe in astrology will know too, or can relate to this, but we have these tendencies, right? And for some reason, fire signs really do carry that fire inside of them. And I know that when something bothers me, or when somebody messes around with the people around me, I get fired up. Though as an adult, I realize that the actions of firing up may not always lead to the best results, right? It may actually get me in trouble. And so as a wife, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, what do I do with all of this fiery energy in me when I'm in a phone call with a client? If you're fired up in this conversation and you feel like you want to slam the phone on that damn person, right? And you have all these fiery emotions arising, how do you step out of it to not be involved and not be the fire? There's a difference between the fire and being the fire. And one of the biggest routines that I have been able to establish is stepping away from the situation. And yes, it's a routine, and yes, it was something that I had to force it upon myself time after time to make it into a habit, where today as an adult, as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, I allow that habit to fall into everything I do, and guess what that creates? Harmony. So what habits or what routines are you constantly doing to create a habit that will eventually turn into harmony into your life? And so people take on routines and habits that usually don't serve a purpose. So when we bring mindfulness, which is just bringing conscious and focus into what you're actually doing, okay, I'm doing this and I'm doing this for what? Oh, I'm doing this for a purpose. Or what purpose is that? Oh, this is a purpose. What happens when I fulfill this purpose? Oh, I don't know, my family will be happy. I will be happy. I will feel like this. If you have a purpose, then you fulfill it. And you work at it again and again, you eventually create a habit, but that habit turns into a lifestyle. It turns into your life. It turns into what you do.